That's what this election's about, because John McCain and I have real differences about how to get us out of this economic mess. You see, Senator McCain thinks the economic policies of George W. Bush were just right for America. In the Senate, he's voted with George Bush 90% of the time. He said earlier this year that we've made great progress over the last 8 years. And while Senator McCain says now that he's different from George Bush, you sure couldn't tell by the policies he's proposing. Just yesterday, John McCain strongly defended the Bush policy of lavishing tax cuts on corporations, including those that ship American jobs overseas. He made kind of a strange argument that the best way to stop companies from shipping jobs overseas is to give more tax cuts to companies that are shipping jobs overseas. More tax cuts for jobs outsourcing. That's what Senator McCain proposed as his answer to outsourcing. He said that's, quote, simple fundamental economics. Well, Indiana, my opponent may call that fundamental economics, but we know that's just another name for Wall Street first, Main Street last. That's the kind of economic philosophy we've had for the past 8 years, and that's fundamentally wrong. If Senator McCain wants to defend tax breaks for companies that ship jobs overseas, that's his choice. But I say let's end tax cuts for companies that ship jobs overseas. Give them to companies that are investing right here in Indiana, right here in the United States of America. If he wants to defend free trade agreements designed to protect the profits of big corporations and a trade policy that lets countries like China tilt the playing field against our workers, that's up to him. But I say we need a trade policy that protects the dreams of hard-working Americans. If he wants to defend a tax code that's more than 10,000 pages long, filled with loopholes written in by corporate lobbyists, like the ones running his campaign, he's got every right. He has every right to defend offshore tax havens that let companies avoid paying taxes here in America. But I say it's time to close corporate loopholes, shut offshore tax havens, and restore balance and fairness to our tax code. You know, there's a building in the Cayman Islands that supposedly houses 18,000 corporations. Think about that. That's either the biggest building or the biggest tax scam in the world. I think we know which one it is. That's the system my opponent defends. That's the system he wants to preserve. He wants to keep on putting corporations ahead of workers. I see some folks here, sheet metal workers. I heard your interview this morning. You guys sounded great. I see some carpenters up here, carpenters for Obama. I see some teachers out here for America. I see Teamsters for America. Who's looking out for steel workers? Who's fighting for carpenters? Who's fighting for teachers? Who's fighting for Teamsters? That's the president I want to be.